Yellow lights are off. Pace truck pulls to the infield. We get set to go. Doug Clark on the flag stand. Green flag in his hand. Ready to go here for 8 laps. Reger Phillips and Paige Polyak on the front row. Coming to the white line in turn 4. Green flag waves. Down the chute into the turn. Reger holds the lead. They'll go 3 wide for the second spot in turn 4. Look at him go. 3 wide down the back straightaway. Chris Martin on the inside. Brooke Tatnall now to the outside, the car number 55. They'll race through turn 4. He'll take the second spot. Reger Phillips will lead lap number 1. Brooke Tatnall running in the second position now, challenging for the lead in turn number 2. Chris Martin racing third. Ian Madsen 4th. Terry McCarl in the 5th spot. Paige Polyak, Ryan Bunton, and A.J. Moeller round out the field. But the battle up front, your leader works off at turn 4. Reger Phillips on the inside of the racetrack now in the car number 22. A big run from Tatnall. Here he comes. Race for the lead down the back straightaway. You've got a new leader. Brooke Tatnall shows the way now up on the top side of the racetrack in the car number 55. Reger Phillips through the middle of turn number 4 in that second position. Chris Martin still racing third. Terry McCarl now trying to close the gap for the third spot through the middle of turn 1 up to the cushion. Ian Madsen in the car number 18 turns the car off the cushion in turn number 2. Down the back straightaway, your leader still, Brooke Tatnall. Reger Phillips right there, 3 car lengths back in the second spot. Chris Martin racing third. Terry McCarl now beginning to close in on Martin. Battle for third, side by side in 1. Martin too strong on the top. McCarl holds the bottom side of the racetrack. Ian Madsen in that 5th position as they work down the back straightaway. Keep your eye on the battle for the third spot. Chris Martin way up on the top of the racetrack. McCarl down low. Race for the lead in turn 1 again. Reger ducking to the inside. A slide job coming up. No. Oh yeah. He'll take the lead in turn number 2. How about Reger Phillips diving her in deep in 1 and 2 to take the top spot back? Brooke Tatnall still racing in that second position. He'll challenge back on the outside again, side by side at the line. Race for the lead as McCarl moves up into the third spot now. Ian Madsen on the outside of Martin for 4th. He'll take it in turn number 2. Martin back to 5th. Back up front, Brooke Tatnall still hustling the high side in turn number 4 as they see the white flag, 1 to go. If he wants it, he'll have to come and get it, and he does at the flag stand. Brooke Tatnall will lead that lap here, but here comes Reger back on the inside. Final time down the back straightaway. 2 car lengths back as Reger Phillips as they race for the lead. Coming for the checkers, side by side in 4. Who's it going to be? It'll be Brooke Tatnall off of turn 4. Reger Phillips comes home second. Terry McCarl third. Ian Madsen getting into the 4th spot. And Chris Martin finishing 5th.
6 of Carson McCarl coming out of Altoona, Iowa. Run number 2, we see the 12 of Linton Jeffrey, and 2 is outside. It's a 71A R.J. Johnson of Tampa, Florida. The 56 Anna Davey Heskin starts inside. Run number 3 and 2 is outside. Out of Green Valley, Missouri, that's Brian Brown. Dustin Salvage, the 1B starts inside. Run number 4 and 2 is outside. It's the 15 of Bobby Meitzer. Green flag is out for heat race number 2 in your 410s tonight here in Knoxville. Boguski shows the way over in turn at number 1. He'll lead the way early on. Can he hang on to it side by side? Your race now for that lead. In the next straightaway, look at Linton Jeffrey try and charge the front. He does just that. Coming around turn number 4 now, shows the way off of 4, nice and easy. He'll lead lap number 1. Scott Boguski at the second. And here comes Brian Brown. Brown started in 6th, now up to 3rd, making his way through the field. Down the back straightaway, Linton Jeffrey continues to show the way. Brian Brown working that cushion over in turn 3. Going to try and close the gap here on Scott Boguski, coming around for that second place position. Boguski not going away just yet from Linton Jeffrey. And whoa, look out! Boguski got a little loose. Almost lost the car. He saves it, but lost a lot of momentum in the car. And here comes Brian Brown right around the 84. That's the battle for second. Now Brown up to second from a 6th place starting position. Further back in the pack, keep your eye on this battle. Davey Heskin and R.J. Johnson coming around turn number 3 and 4. That's the battle going on for 6th and 7th down the back straightaway. Heskin trying to get around the 71A, just can't quite make his way there just yet. They might try and split the difference. The car in front of them is Bobby Meitzer around turn number 4. Both those cars closing the gap, and now Dustin Selvage now up to that 7th place position around Davey Heskin. Heskin had problems in hot laps, pulled the car in early. Might have some problems in that car now. Meanwhile, back up front, Linton Jeffrey might have some company here in just a moment. Brian Brown closing the gap over in turn number 2 and down that back straightaway. The 21 is reeled in the 12 over in turn number 3. Will there be enough time? They'll have 2 laps to go this time by. Brian Brown, the bottom side of your race now for the lead. He'll take it away from Linton Jeffrey in turn number 1 and 2, but Jeffrey jumps back out to the outside, going to try and find something on the top. Can't quite get it done. Brian Brown now over in turn number 3, shows the way. Jeffrey trying to get back around him, just can't quite get the car back up to speed. White flag is out for Brian Brown, all in turn number 1 by himself. Linton Jeffrey in second, Scott Boguski third, Carson McCarl fourth, and Bobby Meitzer hanging on to fifth for right now. Final time through turns 3 and 4, the bottom side out of Green Valley, Missouri, the 21 Blackjack. Brian Brown picks up the heat race win. Linton Jeffrey in second, Scott Boguski in third. Carson McCarl comes home in fourth. And look at this one, 3 wide. Bobby Meitzer hangs on barely. R.J. Johnson sixth and Justin Selvage in seventh. Davey Heskin rounds out the field.
So we'll try it again as we get ready to go. You won't want to miss our intermission when we have our introduction of the Fair Queens and our inductions for the Knoxville Raceway Hall of Fame. Here we go as they roll through turns 3 and 4. Dakota Hendrickson setting the pace in that Gazella Wi-Fi car number 4. Tasker Phillips outside of the front row looking for 8 of them as they work off of turn 4. Green flag. Down into turns 1 and 2, your field sorting out as they race down the back straightaway. Dakota Hendrickson shows the way in the car number 4. Tasker Phillips on the top of the racetrack now. Austin McCarl on the move. He'll look to the outside of Matt Jewell. A 3-car battle off of turn 4. Matt Jewell moves up into the 3rd spot as they race into turn number 1. Side by side, McCarl and Schneiderman going to battle in turn number 2. Down the back straightaway, McCarl by a nose wing as they race into turn number 3. Schneiderman up on the top side of the racetrack in that car number 44. Hustling and hurrying off of turn 4. He'll take the spot away. Down the front straightaway, Josh Schneiderman now up in the number 4 position. Here comes Austin McCarl. He'll move back by on the inside in turn number 2. Down the back straightaway, they'll battle for position. Schneiderman losing some ground now as Lasoski gets into the mix in the car number 1M. Back up front, Dakota Hendrickson shows the way in the car number 4. He'll lead him down the back chute. Tasker Phillips running second. Matt Jewell racing in the 3rd spot. Austin McCarl running 4th in the car number 2 KS. Josh Schneiderman, then Danny Lasoski, Austin Johnson, and Bob Weave round out the field. Dakota Hendrickson leading down the back straightaway. Driveline problems 1 week ago sidelined him. Now back out front, a strong run here in the final heat race. Tasker Phillips running in the 2nd spot. Now the battle beginning to wage for the 4th spot. Down the front straightaway, Austin McCarl and Josh Schneiderman duking it out for position. Schneiderman on the inside. McCarl tries to shut the door. They'll go side by side off of turn 2. Look at them fighting the wheels, swatting snakes as they race down the back straightaway. Austin McCarl through the middle of turn number 4. Josh Schneiderman working the inside line down the front straightaway. Your leader all alone out front. He'll see the white flag this time by 1 lap to go for your leader, Dakota Hendrickson. Tasker Phillips running in that 2nd spot. Matt Jewell 3rd. Austin McCarl still running in that 4th spot. Checkered flag will wave this time by off of turn 4. A good run, give him a hand. Your winner is Dakota Hendrickson. Tasker Phillips comes home in the 2nd spot. Matt Jewell finishing 3rd. 4th will go to Austin McCarl. Will he get 112? Danny Lasoski setting the pace tonight. Dakota Hendrickson on the outside of the front row. 2 by 2. Doug Clark taking a look. Looking. Green flag. 4 wide as they work down the first straightaway. Lasoski leading to the top side of turn number 2. Through turns 1 and 2, everybody making it still 4 wide. Back in the pack as they work off of turn 2. Back up front, Ian Madsen out of the inside of Linton Jeffrey. pair of Aussies duking it out for second as they work off of turn 4. Lasoski would lead lap 1, side by side now. Linton moves up to the number 2 position. Ian Madsen racing third. Brian Brown and Dakota Henderson battling for the 4th spot in turn number 2. Brooke Tatnall rounding out the 6th position down the back straightaway. Side by side are the McCarls. Austin on the inside, Terry on the top side. Back up front, Danny Lasoski showing the way. Ian Madsen running second. Linton Jeffrey third. Battle for fourth. Now Dakota on the bottom. Here comes Brooke Tatnall. Gonna go 3 wide. No, sir. Down the back straightaway. Brian Brown now moves around Dakota for the position. Dakota shuts the door on Tatnall. Tatnall through the middle now. Turn number 4. Danny Lasoski still the leader as they battle for the 5th spot in turn number 2. Dakota Hendrickson and Brooke Tatnall battling it out for the 5th position down the back chute. Now Tatnall with a big run to the inside. He'll take the spot, stays on the bottom, now slides up across turn 4. Dakota back to the 6th position. Then it's Austin McCarl running 7th. Terry McCarl, he'll find himself in the 8th spot. Matt Jewell running 9th, and Tasker Phillips rounds out your top 10. Josh Schneiderman with a run, about a car width off the cushion in the 11th spot as they work into turn number 2. Your leader, Danny Lasoski, now to overcome the lap car of Bob Weave, who goes to the bottom. Lasoski stays up on the top of the racetrack. Ian Madsen still running second. Linton Jeffrey in the 3rd spot. Brian Brown in 4th, unchallenged. Down the back straightaway is the 5th position car of Brooke Tatnall in the 55. Danny Lasoski still the leader, but here comes Ian Madsen beginning to close the gap on your leader. He'll narrow the gap. He's found the rubber entering turn 1. He'll roll up on the back of Lasoski. Down the back straightaway now. Lasoski trying to pull away. He'll move by Austin Johnson. Put a lap car between he and Ian Madsen in turn number 4. Danny Lasoski, Ian Madsen, then Linton Jeffrey and Brian Brown. Brooke Tatnall still rounding out your top 5. Your leader is Lasoski in turn number 4. Ian Madsen still trying to close the gap. He's some 10 car lengths back as they work down the front straightaway. Linton Jeffrey in the 3rd spot. Brian Brown 4th. Brooke Tatnall running 5th. Austin McCarl 6th. Dakota Hendrickson 7th. Terry McCarl 8th. 9th is Matt Jewell, and 10th is Tasker Phillips. Those cars about a car width to 2 off the cushion as they enter into turn number 1. Your leader, Lasoski, he doesn't see that as they work down the front straightaway. Now he finds it in the middle of turn 1. Ian Madsen right there in that 2nd spot, unchallenged to your leader. Down the back straightaway, Lasoski up on the top of the racetrack now. A car, Paige Polyak, just ahead of your leader, Lasoski, the lap car, down the front straightaway. Here comes Ian Madsen with a run on your leader. Lasoski through the middle of turn number 1. He'll move by Paige Polyak in turn 2. Put a lapper between he and Ian Madsen. Then it's back to Linton Jeffrey, Brian Brown, and Brooke Tatnall. 14 laps remain, 11 in the books for your leader, Lasoski. Danny Lasoski showing the way down the back straightaway. Mark Birch has that car hooked up tonight. Car number 1M enters the middle of turns 3 and 4, right through the middle of the racetrack. Lasoski now moving by the lap car of Martin. He goes back to the middle of turn number 1, about a car with the top to bottom. Ian Madsen still running second. Linton Jeffrey third. Brian Brown, the first car to find the way bottom side of the racetrack in 1 and 2. Then Brooke Tatnall. Car slowing down the back chute. That's the Paige Polyak in the 19R. Brian Brown and Brooke Tatnall battling in turn number 1. That's the race for the 4th spot. Here comes Brownie. He'll move by Linton in turn number 2. Austin McCarl is closed in. A 4-car battle as they race into turns 3 and 4. Brian Brown has 4th. Linton Jeffrey with all kinds of pressure for the 5th spot. Off turn 4. 3 cars battling for the 5th spot. Linton has it. Oh boy! Brooke Tatnall nearly drove over and took a ride of his life. Here comes Austin McCarl, 3 wide off turn 2. Brooke Tatnall around Linton Jeffrey. Then it's Austin McCarl. Danny Lasoski on the bottom of turn number 2. 3 car lengths back is Ian Madsen in second. Down the back straightaway they work through traffic. Lasoski trying to fend off the challenging Ian Madsen. Madsen off the bottom of turn number 4, following Lasoski down the front straightaway. Then it's back to Brian Brown, who's mired in lap traffic in turn 1. Brooke Tatnall looking to the outside of Brian Brown for position. That'll be the race down the back straightaway. Brian Brown in third. Brooke Tatnell running fourth. Selvage off the throttle into the car. Meitzer slowing in turn number 4. Danny Lasoski, still your leader, but the battle on the racetrack as they work into turn number 1 and 2. Brian Brown, Brooke Tatnell, Linton Jeffrey, Austin McCarl. Then it's Dakota Henderson, Terry McCarl as they work down the back straightaway. Your leader, Lasoski, coming by the scoreboard, by the flag stand, clicking him off. 7 remain for your leader. Will Ian Madsen have enough time to run him down? He's got to get by a guy that's very good on the bottom and even better in traffic. That's Lasoski. Car slowing. Oh, Boguski over the cushion into the wall in turn 2. Yellow, 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 yellow. The right rear tire exploding on the car number 84. Boguski doing a nice job of not wadding it up into the high fence. A slow pace by Danny Lasoski, hugging the inside of the racetrack. He gets on the gas in turn 4, brings him to the cone. Green flag's out. Lasoski goes to the bottom of the racetrack. Ian Madsen and Brian Brown follow him. Now Linton gets around Brooke Tatnell in turn number 2. Austin McCarl, then Dakota Hendrickson, Terry McCarl, Matt Jewell, and Tasker Phillips, your top 10. Off of turn 4, Danny Lasoski starting to extend his lead over Ian Madsen in that second spot. Brian Brown racing in the 3rd position 1 week ago, lost a rear tire, dumped it into the fence. He's got a strong run going here tonight. 5 laps to go for your leader, Lasoski. Lasoski, Ian Madsen, Brian Brown, Linton Jeffrey, and Brooke Tatnell. Austin McCarl, Dakota Hendrickson, now Terry McCarl closing in. Oh, yellow in turns 1, look out! Carson McCarl. Carson McCarl spinning the car number 6 in the middle of turns 1 and 2 to bring out the caution. Yellow lights are off, 20 to go. Lasoski with 5 circuits remaining. Brooke Tatnell moving back around Linton Jeffrey for the number 4 position down the back straightaway. Brooke Tatnell up into the 4th spot. Linton Jeffrey back to 5th. Side by side is McCarl and Dakota Hendrickson. McCarl gets by the inside of Dakota Hendrickson down the front straightaway. That'll be the race for the 7th spot. Oh, smoke now off of Dakota's car number 4 as they work into turn number 2. Tasker Phillips losing ground to Reger Phillips. The brothers battling out in turn 3. 3 laps to go for Danny Lasoski. Danny Lasoski down the back chute through turns 3 and 4. This time by tip of the green. 2 to go. Danny Lasoski down the back straightaway with a clear racetrack ahead. Ian Madsen, some 10 car lengths back, closes the gap to 8 as they work through turns 3 and 4. White flag flies for your leader, Danny Lasoski. Danny Lasoski racing down the back straightaway. He's in the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame. He's won the Knoxville Nationals. He's a World of Outlaw champion. He's into the Knoxville Raceway Hall of Fame, and for the 112th time in his career, Danny Lasoski wins at Knoxville. Ian Madsen comes home 2nd. Brian Brown is 3rd. Brooke Tatnell 4th, and Linton Jeffrey rounding out your top 5.
Now, race fans, you can't see this right where the dude, I'll guarantee he'll come over here and look at this thing. There is nothing left but the outside edge of this tire. Yeah. You know, his sheet now when he signs in says Ocala, Florida is where his residence is, but he'll always be the dude from Dover, Danny Lasoski. 112, I I think when Tony Bachhoven introduced him in the Hall of Fame tonight for the Knoxville Hall of Fame, he said 111. That didn't sound good to you, did it?
112 sounds a lot better, doesn't it?
It does indeed. And I'll tell you what, I know you've been hungry. You needed this tonight. Mark Birch also back in victory lane here at Knoxville Raceway. You two still put together a winning combination.
He's one hell of a person, one hell of a friend, and better than that, one hell of a crew chief. You're looking at the crew. It's he and I. My job is fuel, and his is everything else. So I'm very proud of him. He works his tail off, and want to thank his beautiful wife, Mary, and the kids for letting him come do it, because I know they'd probably rather have him home. But appreciate him coming racing. And again, for all the folks to come out, what a night to win on Hall of Fame night. Unbelievable.
You know, this track tonight, a little bit different than these guys are used to, and funny how it worked so well at the bottom tonight.
Well, I think if this is a stat night, I think we've won way more on the bottom than we have the top.
No doubt about it. Congratulations on that. Let's talk a little bit about the lap traffic, though. It kind of played to your benefit, but then the yellows started coming back out.
They started coming out. Again, you don't know how much to save. You don't know how hard to go. And as you well know, I could see the racetrack shining up, so we had to start saving tires. And through traffic, I tried not to slide it. And, you know, sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. But lucky, we won the race, and couldn't be more proud of Mark Birch.
He's going to celebrate number 112 tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Give it up on Farm Bureau night for the dude, Danny Lasoski.
Merry Christmas, bud.
Well, Mike gathered the other folks down in victory lane.
You guys want to get up there?
We need the ambulance to the 20 car in turn 4 on the front straightaway. The ambulance to the 20 car. Daniel Lasoski is your winner for the 112th time in his career. Ian Madsen comes on second. Brian Martin on third. Brooke Yackle finishes fourth. Leighton Jeffrey rounds out the top.
Okay, we need all transponders return to the trailer immediately, please. All transponders return to the tech trailer immediately.
Comes home 11th tonight. That's the
Come on, guys.
Arthur is on the 14th line. Bucks 15th. 16th tonight is Chris Monk, Austin Johnson 17, Bob Lee 18, AJ Moore 19, and Carson Carl for 20. Scott Maguski, Justin Sullivan, Bobby Wagner, and Keith Polyak rounding out the 24 car field here tonight. Again, to the 18 lower 20 car early in the ambulance. So what a wonderful night here at Knoxville Raceway, a big night of racing where we crowned 3 winners, Team Hip Day, Clint Garner, and tonight the 112th time champion of Knoxville. A great night for the Knoxville Hall of Fame, our 4 inductees. Congratulations to them and their families, and thank you, race fans, for coming out here and joining us tonight on Farm Bureau.